The biggest arm wrestling super match in the history of the sport is about to take place. The winner of this fight can be crowned as the best there has ever been, the highest peak that the sport has ever seen. Standing on one side of the table, the Georgian Hulk, Levan Saginashvili represents the East and is, in every bit of the word, the most physically dominant and strong athlete the sport has ever seen. The levels he has taken his power to are unmatched, unrivaled, across the board. His intimidation at the table is absolutely second to none. And then comes Devon Larratt, the Canadian Special Forces soldier turned arm wrestling professional who has truly dedicated his life to this sport. Having dived deeper into technique and mastery than any other person alive, Devon Larratt brings power, he brings strength, he brings combat skills, he brings passion, heart, he brings so much to this table. Is it enough? What this match will come down to is which man can handle the moment better. Which man will be able to stand at the table and execute their plan perfectly. Which man truly believes they can be the best of all time. What a truly special match this is. Devon Larratt, Levan Saginashvili. It's titled The Best of All Time, this video. And we've gone that way for one simple reason. In my personal opinion, and I know it is in a lot, if not the vast majority of arm wrestling fans, it is the opinion that the winner of this match truly is the highest peak that we've ever seen. A lot of people in the past have already considered Levan that. We've heard people like John Brzenk, who is, of course, the greatest of all time, make mentions that he thinks Levan is perhaps impossible to beat. But then there's Devon Larratt as well. Devon Larratt, the champion of the West, the undisputed number one ranked arm wrestler in the Western culture of arm wrestling. It's the first time he's facing Levan. And this really is it. This really is it. The best ever, the highest peak, however you want to call it. I truly believe that the winner of this match will take that crown. It's a very important moment for the sport. And as I was saying, just to clarify what the difference between the greatest and the best is. For those wondering about how could I say this when we have John Brzenk. Of course, yes. Look, John Brzenk is 100% the greatest arm wrestler of all time. I don't believe there's anything that could be taken away from that title from John. And I honestly don't think that anyone will ever come close. And the reason being, look, to become the greatest arm wrestler of all time, it's about legacy. It's about what you've achieved throughout the entire span of your career. And John, for someone to knock him off, they need to become the overall world champion in their teens, whilst doing it from a lighter weight class, beating the Levan of the day. Imagine a 19-year-old coming along right now and beating Levan. It doesn't seem possible, does it? And doing it at 100 kilos, or 95 kilos even. But anyway, as you get the sense, what John did was special. John became world champion in his teens, and he stayed debatedly number one for his weight class, at least, up until the present day, at age 57. So he has had a 4-decade dominance at the top of the world, with 550-odd titles to his name, achievements like no one else in terms of being able to pull up weight categories and still dominate. John's the greatest. I actually think he's statistically the most dominant arm wrestler in the history of the sport. But the best of all time is what we globally, as a body of fans, consider to be the highest peak ever witnessed in the sport. Now, of course, this is subjective, and there are plenty of opinions out there regarding who was there. Was it Andrei Pushka? Was it Denis Saplenkov? Was it Alexei Vovoda? We hear people throw those names up all the time. Was it Richard Lupkes? Okay, one thing is for certain, we'll never know. But we can always take our educated guess. And the reason why I believe so many fans believe this match to be truly that opportunity is primarily because of Levan Saginashvili. Levan Saginashvili is the first of the super monsters to be fully dedicated to arm wrestling. And when I say super monsters, I'm talking about the people upwards of 400 pounds. Of course, we've had people like Cleve Dean before, who was a giant human, probably the biggest human we've seen in the sport at 600 pounds, and 6'6" or 6'7", whatever he was. A giant man who did very well in the World's Strongest Man as well. But the craft wasn't as dedicated in someone like Cleve as it is in Levan. Levan has gone all, and Levan has developed every single ounce there is to develop. Everything about his growth over the years, when he's become this supergiant, has been laser focused on arm wrestling. His dominance over other athletes that have previously been considered amongst the greatest of all time, people like Dave Chaffee, people like Vitaly Laletin, particularly Dave Chaffee, the way Levan dominated him in extending his perfect supermatch record, really set him as the highest standard. In most people's opinions, think that Levan Saginashvili is higher than peak Saplenkov, is higher than peak Pushka, is higher than peak Lupkis. We'll never know for sure, but it does seem to be the case. Now, largely because of that effort from Levan Saginashvili, Devon Larratt has the opportunity to take that off him. He has the opportunity to steal that thunder from the Georgian Hulk. Devon Larratt, it's funny, not many people in the world would have voted for Devon Larratt as the highest peak prior to this match. Devon Larratt has been, of course, world champion, both left and right arm, at one time in his career. He, of course, defeated John Brzenko in 2008, setting him as the number one right arm in the world at the time. And, of course, he defeated Andriy Pushka on the left. It was 2012, 2013, setting him as the left arm number one. He's been there as the most dominant guy in the world, but he's never been unequivocally seen as the highest peak. This match, whoever wins it, takes it for sure. Levan's already got it, in most people's opinions. He's already got it. If he beats Devon Larratt, it concludes his legacy. He's beaten everyone from the East. He's beaten everyone of significance from the West. It concludes his legacy. It makes certain, in the fans' eyes, that Levan is the untouchable, most dominant man in the sport. So this does lead, like I said, this leads to an amazing opportunity for Devon Larratt. And he knows it. He knows it. To be honest, he knows that he's not the stronger guy. He knows he's not the stronger guy. He knows he's outweighed by some, what is he? 100 pounds? 100 pounds difference? 120 pounds difference, maybe? Devon's up against the wall. Devon's back is against the wall, but he's very aware of the opportunity to become the best of all time because of Levan's status. And Devon has that opportunity because he has something up his sleeve that many arm wrestlers that have faced Levan don't, and that is mastery. Devon Larratt has taken mastery to a point, I think, truly beyond that of anyone else in the sport. His dedication to searching for deeper and deeper understandings of tactics and the combat side of the sport. Devon really is more than one step ahead in this match, in that column. So the question is, can Devon do it? Can Devon take it? Is the mastery gap enough? If we add up all of the factors here, you say Levan Saginashvili certainly has the edge in power. Devon Larratt certainly has the edge in endurance. Who has the edge in speed? Probably Levan by a small margin. Who has the edge in technical range? Devon. But the mastery column is a different column. The mastery column is a column where the unknown starts to come into play. The mastery column it leads to confusion for your opponent. It leads to traps being taken. It leads to bait being laid. And ultimately, the scales of power begin to swing. Not due to simply being physical and forcing the issue, but leading the dance. Devon Larratt will have to lead the dance if he is to win this match. And as we said, if he does, At least in my opinion, and let me know about yours, I do believe the winner of this match, included for Devon, if he is to win this match, and Levan will retain it if he wins it. But ultimately, the winner of this match, I think, will be seen forever. I think either man could retire after this match and forever be seen as the highest peak the sport has ever witnessed. And I think the vast majority of fans will agree. I think the vast majority of fans will back that up, and it will take a long, long time for a new champion to come along that can lay claim to being more dominant in a physical sense and in a capable sense, the highest peak in the sport, than either of these two gentlemen. It's an amazing match. I can't wait to see it. It's coming up very, very soon. And it's a special moment for the sport. All right, gonna leave it there. Not long to wait now. The biggest arm wrestling super match in the history of the sport is about to take place. The winner of this fight can be crowned as the best there has ever been, the highest peak that the sport has ever seen. Standing on one side of the table, the Georgian Hulk, Levan Saginashvili represents the East and is, in every bit of the word, the most physically dominant and strong athlete the sport has ever seen. The levels he has taken his power to are unmatched, unrivaled across the board. His intimidation at the table is absolutely second to none. And then comes Devon Larratt, the Canadian Special Forces soldier turned arm wrestling professional who has truly dedicated his life to this sport. Having dived deeper into technique and mastery than any other person alive, Devon Larratt brings power, he brings strength, he brings combat skills, he brings passion, heart, he brings so much to this table. Is it enough? What this match will come down to is which man can handle the moment better. Which man will be able to stand at the table and execute their plan perfectly. Which man truly believes they can be the best of all time.